Daredevil Season 1 is currently available on Netflix, and excuse my voice not being up to par, I'm getting over a cold, as I said in my previous video about Jared Leto's Joker. I apologize, I'm going to struggle through this. Let's do this! Daredevil! Fucking awesome show! Holy shit! So guys, if you watched the 2003 film Daredevil starring Ben Affleck and you are fans of The Man with No Fear, then you were probably vastly disappointed as I was. It was a movie that when I was younger, I was like, it's okay, it's kind of cool, and then when you watch it now as an adult, you're like, why aren't his legs broken when he jumps 100 feet into the air? Isn't he a human? But in this show, Charlie Cox plays Matthew Murdock, a blind lawyer by day and a vigilante by night. Because of an accident when he was a child, he has heightened senses. He's able to walk into a room and visually see in his head the various things that are going on through tiny vibrations in the air. He can hear people's heartbeats to tell when they're lying or telling the truth. This guy has superhuman senses, but he is actually just a man, which makes his exploits as Daredevil so entertaining because technically, like on paper, he's a superhero, but he's just a guy who has these abilities and who's trying to make a difference. He is basically Marvel's version of Batman, except he's not rich, and he's blind and he has the heightened senses and all that stuff, but he is essentially Batman at night. Now, when I saw the first image released of Daredevil in his costume, I thought it looked cheap. I thought this is gonna be horrible. This show is gonna suck. I will not watch it. I was very wrong. This is one of the best things Marvel's ever done. Daredevil is a show that, similar to the Dark Knight trilogy, doesn't tell a superhero story. It's really telling a realistic crime drama. In fact, the creators even said their first priority was to tell a very good crime saga, not to make a superhero show. And that's one of the reasons this show succeeds so well, because you have very grounded and realistic characters that feel like they're inhabiting a real world. And since you have this entire season to tell Daredevil's origin story, you're able to flesh out these characters so much, and the relationships that form between Matthew Murdock and his partner Foggy Nelson and a girl named Karen who works at their firm that they're just like starting up. All these relationships are so entertaining and create real human beings, and so you can really care when he dons his black mask and starts beating people up at night. Now, about that costume, I've heard people that I specifically know in real life tell me that costume looks way too cheap. I'm not going to watch the show. I'm like, look, have you ever read The Man with No Fear by Frank Miller? So many comic book adaptations now are taking inspiration from Frank Miller, but this show is very dark in that way. But not dark in a sense where it's all dark and gritty and everything has to be dark and gritty and oh boo-hoo and we're sad. This is an extremely fun show, actually, that exists in a real world, and that's what I mean by gritty. Hell's Kitchen, as depicted in this show, is a nasty, disgusting place, and even the people who want to live there, who feel good about their city, are still afraid to walk in certain areas. So the characters are well realized. It tells a beautiful origin story. It also has a lot of humor to it, which I was very surprised by. Let's talk about the action sequences, particularly episode 2. And I'm not going to spoil the technique if you haven't heard of it yet, because someone did that for me. Guys, this is action done right. Every problem I've had with action movies today is solved in this show with realistic combat, good stunts, and very good camera work. I was so pleased to see all of that throughout this show, despite the fact that it looked so low budget at first. This is actually a gorgeous looking show with excellent performances from Charlie Cox and Rosario Dawson. It goes back and forth between when he was young and when he was older, which fleshes out that character even more. You see him as a youngster with his dad who's a boxer. You figure out how he became the way he is. You understand why he has certain priorities in his life, and it's told wonderfully. Now, I haven't mentioned one of the best aspects of this show, and that is Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin Wilson Fisk. I hope I said his name correctly. His performance is that kind of performance that's right on the edge of possibly being awful, but just on the edge to the point where it's brilliant. There's an entire episode dedicated to his childhood, as well as a romance with him throughout the show that is able to explore his humanity. He's not just some evil guy who sits on a big chair who commands his various cronies to do things for him. This is a human being, and the show very wisely explores why he has the thought process that he has. These are the best villains, the villains that you can actually understand, because you can watch the show and you can see him do these various atrocities and yet you understand his viewpoint and his thinking for everything he's doing. You're not condoning it, but you understand why he thinks it's right. And that is brilliant storytelling. Guys, Daredevil has a great hero, great performances, a great villain, good action, and realistic fight scenes, as well as fleshed out characters. And it takes the origin of Daredevil, makes it make sense, makes it awesome, and it gets you pumped up for more. I can't wait to see more of Daredevil. I'm looking forward to season 2, and I highly recommend that you guys check this out. It is one of the best things that Marvel has ever made, and I'm going to give Daredevil season 1 an A. Guys, I strongly suggest checking this show out. It is definitely worth your time. It is so much fun, and I hope they take some of the characters even further throughout season 2. Also, guys, I want to let you know that my promotion with Audible.com is continuing. If you go to audible.com/Chris, you can download any audiobook you want for free. My gift to you guys, no strings attached. I'm literally running a promotion with Audible to give you guys free audiobooks if you would like one. It's pretty cool. They have all the Star Wars novels on audible.com, which is something I'm really enjoying. The new Lords of the Sith novel is coming out very soon. I'm looking forward to checking that one out. I actually got that book at the Star Wars Celebration, but the audiobook for that's going to be available, as well as tons of other Star Wars novels. That's audible.com/Chris, a free audiobook of your choice. A lot of you guys have thanked me for that. One person in particular needed a study book that he couldn't get at school because he didn't have the money for it, but audible.com had it, so you guys can go to audible.com/Chris and download any audiobook of your choice for free. My gift to you. Thank you so much as always for watching, guys, and let me know if you watched Daredevil season 1, because it is definitely worth your time, and it doesn't have Bullseye launching a peanut into an old lady's throat. Jennifer Garner as Elektra jumping like 200 feet in the air. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching, and if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.